Nathan and I recently spent a day training with Natalia Grossman and Jesse Grupper, professional climbers who are set to represent the USA at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games.
You're beta. Nice work.
Walking into the USA Climbing National Training Center in Salt Lake City is to be transported into an indoor climbing dreamscape, and I'm willing to bet you've never seen a space quite like it. We arrived shortly after the Salt Lake City World Cup, and the space was buzzing with activity and World Cup climbers. The training center, or TC as the athletes call it, has a unique charm. You could say it's a little rough around the edges, sure, but in the most endearing way possible. Holds of every size and variety adorn the vast warehouse of plywood walls, set to test the elite as they train for their next international competition or even the Olympics. Chalky settees circle the matting, the excited yelling of Team Japan echoes around the biggest Spraywall I've ever seen, as another athlete makes a move that would likely dislocate my entire upper body. A deflated rubber duck soaks in the atmosphere. You may have heard about the USA Climbing National Training Center, but perhaps only in whispers of competition climbing lore or through careful dissection of Instagram posts from climbing's elite. Inside the facility, we peek behind the curtain at how athletes use this space and recorded a day in the life with a room full of Olympic medal hopefuls, uncovering details of how they train.
It's kind of cool having a finger injury in some ways because, I'm forced to practice it a lot.
To the biggest challenges they face.
On the comp boulders, I'm like I should be doing these climbs. I shouldn't be flashing these boulders or else I'm not gonna learn. Mm-hmm. But I want to.
Yeah, well, that's so true. So first off, we're going to go and chat to Jesse Grupper, who has qualified for Team USA for the Olympics. He is over in an area that they call the horseshoe, which looks to have lots of different kind of slabby, movement-based climbs. So we're going to go head over there and see what a session looks like on the horseshoe for Jesse. And chat to him a little bit about his preparations for the Olympics and how he is getting on with his training.
Hey, my name is Jesse Grupper. I'm competing with Team USA at the Summer Olympics. And I'm excited to show you guys around the training center.
We were met by Jesse mid-morning, and his infectious energy for movement was obvious, despite his recently acquired finger injury.
Wow.
Oh yeah, you look so close there.
He was adapting his Olympic training to avoid small grips this week, but welcomed us to put on our shoes and join him in the horseshoe, where Nathan had a chance to find out just how tricky elite training boulders really are.
I'm putting my shoes on. I'm not sure for how long they'll stay on. As soon as I realise the calibre of the problem that I'm up against here. Jesse, can I ask what your kind of training day looks like today?
Yeah, for sure. Today I'm doing a little bit of finger rehab because I have a finger injury, and then I'm going to play on some of these blocks in what we call the horseshoe. So there are a lot of different jumps and slab problems here that aren't too finger intensive.
So yeah. And how structured is your session? Because it kind of seems like, from just jumping in only 5 minutes ago, but it kind of seems like is it like a play-based session, or have
today's
you got
definitely play-based
structure?
Yeah,
to it?
today's definitely play-based. I think I'm just gonna check out some movements and see how it goes.
I'll maybe we'll put on our shoes in a minute and try and join you on a couple of coordination moves. But
let's do
are
it.
you working on something in particular at the moment?
Yeah, I think just this boulder right here. I don't know. Looks like it starts on this blue and then finishes on this black. All right, first try.
I would love to just walk all the way across.
Me too. Whoa. Nice. I think that is the way though, going slow over the foot, like your left foot.
That doesn't feel very elegant stepping through like that. Is that what you did?
I think that's what I was talking about with Jakob, where I think you might want to come that way, but then turn as you're landing.
So you're almost going like that?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I also think that when I'm doing moves like this,
cool.
I've already sort of felt the end position of just running into it, and I feel like that might be a good start.
Okay.
As well.
Nice. Oh, nice.
Wow.
I feel like I have to hold my breath while you're on the wall. Do you hold your breath on a slab, or do you still have to do
Yeah, I think especially, I think there are parts of the climb that I'm holding my breath on, especially when I'm trying to do a move where I'm trying to stay close to the wall.
Yeah.
I sometimes think about how much breathing can affect those millimeters. In, but I think anytime you're doing a dynamic move, letting out breath while you're doing it is kind of nice. or just like holding. Yeah, the first move was weird. I was seeing some people like kind of like try to like jump the left foot out first, which kind of seems weird to me, but
I was close on my
yeah.
first try, but I hit my wrist, and then my second try I didn't want to hit my wrist again.
Yeah. And
then you're like a little scared.
Yeah, I feel like that's like one of the hardest parts about coordination for me. Like as soon as I get hurt on it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying as hard. You made the long start. I like it.
I think a lot of people, like there's climbers at every level out there, and I guess injuries seem like they're just part and parcel of being a climber, right? But it's sometimes kind of hard, I think, to keep motivation.
Yeah, I would say it's a lot of disappointment right now, for sure, in like the initial phases. But I think at least when I'm trying to structure a session, I'm trying to think about the opportunities that I have, what I can work on that would actually like help my process and progression as a climber. And I think like what's cool about climbing in general is like there's just so many different places to like learn, and yeah, I guess thinking of it as like an opportunity as opposed to a setback, even though it is also a setback, is important, especially like in a session.
Yeah, come on, Jesse.
Ooh, oh.
That's so close.
Yeah, painful.
When do you call it on a block?
Yeah, I'll probably give it a couple more tries and then be done. Probably said that a little while ago.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah, I can feel how close you are. Like.
Yeah. I'll play on this red with you.
Yeah, do you want to play on that? How does Slab rate in your kind of skill set? Are you allowed to have favorite areas or not?
Yeah, I would say it's probably not. It's like a super fun area for me to explore and like learn from.
Okay.
I would say that I'm not the best at Slab, but it's kind of cool having a finger injury in some ways because yeah, I'm forced to practice it a lot.
Work on your weakness, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Next up, we switched focus to a dynamic boulder with a big step up. And honestly, I was surprised to feel almost no pressure climbing, despite trading turns with Jesse and Jakob. That was largely because the session was effectively guided by opportunities to learn new positions and practice coordination, rather than by grades or numbers. As climbers from different nationalities passed through the space, they traded methods and tips with each other, which was a marker of how elite climbing is often both competitive and collaborative.
Oh. It's going to be hard not to like barn door out, right?
Yeah, I think actually the beta is like to cross like this, but I'm going to not do that.
With a palm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, which is your bad hand? Is this a bad choice for you?
It's the right hand. No, but I'm going to just try it with my left hand and see what happens.
Okay. Okay, Jesse, let me just pick out like the next boulder to try, and there's nothing's really marked out, but I think you can kind of make out roughly where some moves might go, or at least I found one that looks like a big move.
Super strange.
And I guess that's kind of the like fun of this like area, is almost that you can make up moves or just kind of be drawn to different, practicing different positions with anyone else who's around.
Jesse flipped between different methods, trying to work around his tweaked finger, and I followed suit, slowly starting to gather a little bit of belief that not every boulder problem here would be completely beyond me. After all, as Jesse later pointed out, World Cup boulder problems are sometimes more about problem solving than pushing your physical limits, as in competition, athletes only have around 4 minutes to try and solve them. Soon, Jakob arrived on the block, and it was pretty clear he was determined to tick every boulder in the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Also, how do you split your time between boulder and lead?
Yeah, I do about like half and half on a typical training cycle. Nice.
Whoa. Sick. Wow.
Way easier.
Nice, staying on the deck.
Nice.
So did you go like straight like that?
Like kind of swing and then go. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
The tall man's way. Yeah, I feel like all these jumps are really dependent on like your butt being in the right spot.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like another limb almost.
Yeah, every time we do anything with a pro climber, it's like hips.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
funny.
They're all thinking about it all the time.
Well, at least for me, like it was something that, of course you're thinking about it with like static movement, but I think that for dynamic movement, it's just like even more important.
Yeah, sure. I feel like as amateur climbers are busy thinking about our hands.
Yeah.
Just thinking about gripping stuff.
I do that too, but.
No way, I cannot believe you're almost sticking that. I think out of any of the problems here, this is probably the most suitable for my height and my ability. I've also seen Jakob do it in another way to Jesse, so I'm sure there's options. Oh, I think that was actually the closest I've got though. Now I have one more. That was the closest
You're
I've
learning
got.
from me.
That was the closest I've got. Just left foot here and like lean over. So your last go then, Jesse. No way!
All right.
Yeah.
You're beta.
We were saving that method for the last go. Nice work. That's cool.
Thanks.
Jesse's just pulled it out the bag on his last go. I'm going to follow suit. Have one more go.
Good and pulled. Yeah, nice.
I hope the top hold is good. Is it okay?
You got it. Yeah.
Is that it? Or is it over there?
Yeah, I think that's it. You have completed the boulder.
Cool.
All right, how are you? Sweet. Nice job.
Thanks.
With my own tick list inside the training centre now open, I joined Jesse as he finished his tour onto the last wall of the horseshoe-shaped slab, teetering up onto a large black hold before attempting to traverse with no hands onto a barely perceptible nubbin screwed into a grey volume.
Nice, Campbell. I think so. I think you can hit the volume too with the foot.
And as national team members passed across the bouldering mats, I was curious to investigate international perspectives on the training centre facility. I met Campbell, who is set to compete for Australia at the Paris 2024 Olympics.
Ooh, I like the hand.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, like, how common would you say it is for a country to have like a facility like this big with this much kind of equipment here? Is that something that's, you think, common across all the countries, or?
No, I'd say it's pretty uncommon for the most part. Like the big nations with a lot of funding, ones that are winning a lot of medals, will typically have something of the sort.
Yeah.
I think like this facility is pretty unique, but you know, the Austrians have Innsbruck, the French have Karma and Fontainebleau. We don't really have anything like that in Australia.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to become more and more commonplace that like every national team has its own facility, because I think it is quite crucial.
Yeah, sure.
While Jesse ended his session with the final few attempts, I was curious to ask him how these training boulders compared in difficulty to the type of climbing problems he might face in the Olympics.
How like tricky are the problems that you try on like training days like this, like the stuff that's up here? How do they compare to what we watch in
World Cups?
In the World Cups?
I think it varies a lot. Like these are probably like a similar level or even easier than like World Cups.
Yeah.
But I think that it depends on like the kind of style that they're trying to represent like in the World Cup in general.
Okay.
But I think that just like training your brain to like work through like tricky moves is like all you need in order to like approach the same kind of problems in a World Cup.
Like you're still doing the problem solving process that's the same, even if the boulder is slightly easier.
Exactly.
Away from the horseshoe, there was still so much to explore in the training centre, and it was only by walking through the huge arena with Jesse that we got a sense of the scale and importance of this giant play warehouse.
At the far end of the building, the Salt Lake competition wall stands proud, a host for the Bouldering World Cup just days before, and now being reset to provide the local athletes with a new set of routes. There's one of 3 distinct sections in the warehouse, along with the horseshoe slab, and lastly, the semi-enclosed spray wall where I was prepping to join Natalia Grossman and Oceana MacKenzie. Around the edges of the training centre, hold stores are jammed to the brim, conditioning equipment sits out on the concrete floor, and a mismatch of plywood and steel structures are exposed. All of which only adds to the feeling that you're in a handmade space. The type of place that still remembers climbing's culture and roots.
I feel like climbing's going through such a kind of like identity shift, or that there's been huge changes to the sport in like the last decade or so. It's really nice that spaces like this are really retain that kind of like that kind of like core climber feel of like, it feels not too dissimilar to, we were saying earlier, like going around to your like friend's home gym, they've invited you around to come and climb and you're just gonna like session together. That still kind of retains that feel here, which is really nice, I think.
Yeah, and I think you talked about the charm, and I think like for me, it is amazing to have like world-class climbing to like have access to, but I think everyone has on the World Cup circuit hasn't like started in a training center, right? Like you start on a Spraywall, or you start just doing commercial boulders, and I think that the true charm of this facility is just how it brings people together and kind of makes a community where we can like ask each other questions and like feed off of each other's energy, which I'm sure you guys are seeing like in this space too. So I think that's a really amazing like dynamic piece of the facility as a whole.
After a few hoops on the TC basketball court to settle the pre-session nerves, I joined Natalia Grossman and Oceana MacKenzie for a training experience I'd been at once incredibly excited to have, owing to the prestige of the training centre Spraywall and the accomplishments of my hosts, and dreading having an equal measure because of just how hard that Spraywall looked. To help introduce me to this behemoth climbing wall, I was honoured to be able to join Natalia and Osh, who are both competition climbers I'm sure you'll be familiar with, for a power endurance session on the iconic Spraywall. Having only small amounts of power and little endurance, I was a little intimidated to say the least, but I tried not to make that too obvious.
You want me to try and climb? I'll have a look, a little look. Both Natalia and Oceana have qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympics, so today's session on the Spraywall is going to be a real peek behind the curtain at what athletes training for the Olympics do in a typical, although maybe not so typical training session due to injury. We are going to get warmed up and then we're going to try and make our way up the Spraywall by any means necessary.
Yeah, so today's more of like a power focus session. So doing some campusing and then doing some boulders. Just working on power on the Spraywall.
Walk us through which one you're trying at the moment.
Yeah, so just working on this little short like campus boulder / trying to make the end of it work, because right now the concept we have seems a little too hard maybe. We haven't quite figured out like the right swing yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't do it, but I think that was closer. So it was just like I wasn't pulling for like my first couple of tries.
I barely ever train on a Spraywall. I will climb commercial sets in the gym. And what I really like about the Spraywall is that there's like, kind of almost takes away the emphasis of the success being getting to the top or like completing a colour circuit or like completing the route. It's like, you can really focus in on like specific movements.
Exactly. I always think of the Spraywall too as just like a training tool.
Yeah.
Like I know commercial boulders are also training tools, but I feel like with spray boulders, it's just about like getting better and using the wall to get stronger. Sure. It's not necessarily about sending, like you said.
Yeah.
Success. I wasn't like pulling up at all, so I was always hitting it like this and then tried to be more engaged.
Are you trying the same traverse again?
Different one. This is on major set, yeah. It has this like huge cross under move and then you have to like swing around.
Okay.
So.
Are these routes that you've done before?
No.
Like on other days, or they're just new ones that you come out of each session?
Yeah, brand new ones.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works. Whoa, this next move though. Wow. Oh, the drag or full crimp again.
Yeah, I don't know. This feels, I'm having a hard time.
Nice. Come on.
Yeah, nice. Wow, you like really went to the
you
wall.
gotta like fling yourself. No, it's not bad.
Oh, it is okay.
Like, and you can get a good pinch on it, and almost like.
Can you like use yellow for your thumb? Or
I think it's too far.
Okay.
Kind of just looks like you like levitated across, like.
It's actually the weirdest part is to not put your feet down. It's so close. I'm like.
Get it, Trevor. Come on. Nice. Wow.
You can't, yeah, it's like just this one. And this one's
What if
so...
you like, then flipped the right hand?
Wait.
Or like came in even to like the blue other pin.
Oh, this?
Or something.
What?
Something.
Like come into this one?
Yeah, yeah. There's like nothing to pull from.
Feels weird to... It's a big cross, yeah. Come on. Yeah, come on, come on. Yeah, that's it, come on. Come on. Yeah! Okay. Feel a bit better dropping down?
Yeah. Come on, Osh.
Watching Oceana and Natalia go about their regular training with seeming ease after both climbing in finals at the World Cup and with the Olympics just a few months away, I couldn't help but think how impressive it was that they seemed so composed and happy to be training despite short fatigue and injury. I felt nervous just being in the training environment with such strong athletes. The drop down from the blue slope to the crimp that Natalia and Osh were trying looked truly improbable. I wish I had footage to show you of me trying to campus just one move on this spray wall, but when I say I could barely leave the ground on this thing, please believe me.
Yeah, Natalia.
That happened this last time too.
It looked like you had so much time though. You like went
Yeah,
for
that's
it, then
when
you
I
went
was like, It's funny, I was reading this book yesterday and it was like talking about video games and it said like video games are like all hand-eye coordination and I was gonna send it to my trainer and be like, do I need to pick up video games?
But it's true, it's like super fast reflexes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at gaming.
Yeah.
I've like never tried. The perfect engagement.
Oh, easy. Come on. Yes! Nice.
The perfect engagement. That's such a weird move because it felt like kind of fine. Thanks. Like,
It didn't look that hard when you did it.
yeah, like drop down this arm completely and then like, I don't know, just like,
Unravel.
yeah. I'm not very good at articulating movement.
Yeah, how long would you normally stick with like one boulder
sick.
before moving on to?
Kind of
You
just
get
like
sucked into
depends.
stuff.
Like I've definitely gotten sucked into a boulder for like over an hour.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just try a boulder for like 10 minutes. I'm like, and move on.
Yeah.
So kind of just follow the psych.
Sure, like if you're still learning from it.
Yeah.
Am I right in thinking, Natalia, that you're introducing feet now, moving away from campus?
Yes. We're gonna
Okay.
do regular climbing.
This is good news. Good news for me.
After campusing, it was time to move on to a spray wall session with feet allowed. This was my time to shine, or at least to string more than one move together, while Natalia and her coach set up a special top rope system for her next activity.
Oh, bad choice.
Natalia did have to adapt her session slightly. As you'll have seen throughout this video, Natalia picked up a knee injury in the semi-finals of the Salt Lake City World Cup. Impressively, she went on to win gold in the finals despite that knee injury, but her training today did have to be tweaked a little to restrict falling.
Come on. Oh, that's scary.
To complete her spray session, one of Natalia's coaches was on hand to provide a belay on the bouldering wall. Adding a top rope into the mix meant that Natalia could make moves without the worry of falling off, and it was super interesting to see her dedication to making training possible, even with an injured knee.
Okay, let's pretend I fall.
As with any new adaptation, the top rope took a little getting used to,
Okay. That works.
but we all know that top level athletes are good at responding to challenges.
It works. It's still just scary to like do a jump move though.
Both Natalia and Oceana were working on a steep route which moved right from a slopey dish to a black slope there. Natalia added a small additional hold to make the jump right less committing, although I'm not sure it would have made it much easier for any of us mere mortals.
Yes. Oh.
Watching Natalia and Osh work through the ridiculously difficult moves that they'd set for each other was one of my most inspiring climbing moments in recent memory. Collaboration, sharing ideas and project solving with a friend has always seemed to me one of the very best things about climbing, and I wondered if this willingness to pool ideas and resources was as common of a feature in the more performance-focused competitive environments like this one.
Come on.
Spending a day at the training centre really illuminated for me that despite athletes ultimately being competitors, there's a deep understanding and respect for the individual self-improvement driving an athlete's passion for competition. Sharing is certainly part of that, and a healthy dose of self-analysis too.
Okay, so maybe we still just.
I was gonna do a heel to go into the underclimb.
With self-analysis in mind, I was leaving the TC with my own reminder that failure is always part of the process, and typically the more effective teacher. It might have been easy for me to leave the TC feeling dejected at not having managed to climb the Spraywall to the top, but it seemed that the athlete mindset might gear more towards zooming in on the opportunities for improvement than the conventional success of sending. And while I had one more attempt on the wall, Nathan tested to see how obsessive Natalia and Osh were over remembering routes that they'd tried previously, asking whether they remembered more the routes they topped or the ones they'd fallen on, and the answer was resounding.
Oh no, I remember that.
Do you remember more the ones that you topped or the ones that you fell off?
The ones I fell off.
You would remember those more. Yeah.
The ones that hold you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like last year I literally I made a folder of every boulder that I didn't do.
You didn't do?
Yeah,
Okay.
and they all had a very common theme, so we tried to like
So then you
replicate.
trained that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. How many was it?
There were quite a bit.
Yeah?
Like any climb with a coordination.
I was gonna say, I was like, I feel like.
While Natalia and Osh gave their last attempts on the Spraywall project, I reflected on a day well spent with some of climbing's very best in the unique space that is the USA Climbing National Training Centre. The TC feels half parts like your friend's basement home gym and half parts the elite training facility that it is, but full parts a place where you can really experience the colourful character of our sport and the passion of the people that make up the competition scene.
Jake!
So thanks to USA Climbing, Natalia, Jesse and Oceana for showing us round. It's an experience we won't forget in a hurry.
Nice, nice. Yeah. I guess the end might not be doable. That was so scary! I was like, wow, she's really going for it. I was like,